Good morning. It is May 20th, 2023. This is Ron Brown. I'm going to do an abbreviated market report. I put this phrase in here, the market is your teacher. A lot of us spend money on subscriptions to newsletters from experienced investors, but really, if you want to learn, the market is your teacher, and HGSI is the best program I've found that allows us to be taught by the market, and you'll see that. Now, I'm doing this webinar series. It says upcoming webinar series, but I started last week. And this is, the videos are available to anyone who wants to watch them. I'm putting them up on YouTube, and there is a watch list or a playlist that's available. I am recording a weekly video on a specific subject using the software. Last week it was what I call my perfect chart. Live Q&A session on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Insider Club members can pay an additional $100 to get my latest files. The live sessions will be recorded and distributed to everyone. That is the videos, and I'll cover everything from setups to risk control and demonstrate my daily processes. The webinars are going to focus on showing how to determine a list of the best candidates to create your own watch lists. And when the webinars are finished, all Insider Club members will have access to the files. But the completed files are probably not going to be for at least 8 weeks. I'm going to take my time on this, and if you want the files as I update them weekly, as I make changes and additions, you'll have to pay the $100 for the files. If you're patient and if you want to wait, if you're an Insider Club member, that's fine also. If you want to attend the webinars and get my weekly videos, just go to hgsinvestor.com. It's hgsinvestor.com and select the $100 option down here. I haven't updated this web page. I just haven't felt the need to. I don't use this site other than as an FTP site and for this particular page. So once again, it's go to http://www.hgsinvestor.com. Now, any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. If you do not have HGS Investor, you should get it. You get a free 30-day trial without a credit card. Just go to highgrowthstock.com and order the trial. Now you get some of my files and other files, scans, and so on from other people. They won't be the latest files. Like I said, I'm working on those as I go through this, and they'll be available probably the final in about 8 weeks, maybe more. It depends on what I want to cover. Okay, now I'm starting in my Major Markets Plus folder, or my market analysis user groups with this in this folder right here, and I'll click through to the warehouse, and the view is top-down analysis major markets. This is sorted on the percentage price change 1 day. Let me get that combo back up, and you can see that the indexes were down yesterday. They pulled back, but they've been strong. One thing I've noticed about the Nasdaq is the volume has not been all that great. Now I'm going to go to my Nasdaq chart. It's under market charts, and I'll just start with the first one right here, and I want to show you something that occurred today. I got some new drawing tools here. Let's see if I can use them. And I want an arrow. Right here, the fan changed from no to yes yesterday, and I'll show you on the next chart. But this is what happened this week. 5-day change up 3%. That's from last Friday. From Monday morning up 2.9%. From the beginning of the year up 20.9, and only 4% off the 52-week highs. That's pretty amazing, considering that it feels like the market hasn't really done much, but it has. If you look at this, the trend has been up. We had this congestion area for quite some time, but as you can see, it's broken out of that, and we have a no supply DPA flag as of Friday, a sign of strength. You can see that it broke out on heavier volume than the prior days, although the volume is still below the 90-day moving average. The ADs, or accumulation versus distribution, advancing issues versus declining issues, were flat on Friday. If I bring up, let me see if I can get rid of this. If I bring up my information window, and let's try this again. I'm not used to these tools, obviously. Okay, let's see if this works. Here's the advancers versus decliners, and you can see they were essentially flat. And new highs versus new lows, this has changed from earlier in the week. The new lows were dominating. So things have changed, and the market is really, or this part of the market is really doing well. Get this out of here. I want to go down to the next chart, and this compares the Nasdaq to the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is underperforming the Nasdaq, and that's easy to tell with this chart because the blue line is going up. If the blue line is going up, this means the Nasdaq is outperforming the S&P. Back here, the blue line was going down, so it was underperforming. But throughout this run right here, it was clearly outperforming the S&P. Okay, I'm going to move down to another chart. This is with the McClellan oscillator. You can see that it's right in the middle. At this point, as the market sold off, you can see how low the McClellan oscillator gets. And it's oscillating right around here because that pretty much reflects that we have not had a lot of real strong up days versus down days on the AD line. Now go back over here. Let me bring this up, and you can see that this was going up as the market was going up, but now this is flat. Started to go up here as we went through this congestion period. The AD line with the McClellan oscillator essentially remained pretty flat. Now let's see if I can go down here, compare the new highs to new lows. You can see how this has changed over time, just back here. And this was on the 3rd of May. You can see the new lows were very dominant compared to the new highs. And here is that fan that just crossed over today. The 100 went above the 200, so the fan is now in place. It's not spread out. It's not real strong. I mean the fan separation, but it is in place. Now let's do one more. This is the internals, or the advancing versus decline line for the Nasdaq, and you can see this looks similar to the McClellan oscillator. It's just been bouncing around down here, but even throughout this market period, when this was going up, the AD line was either flat or going down. So it hasn't been a real robust market for internals when you consider internals. I'm going to go down to Ian's multiple indicator chart for the Nasdaq, and you can see that everything is green here. So at this point, when the market broke past resistance, that's when everything turned green. There was a little dip down in the force index one day, but it's been green for several days now as the Nasdaq took off. Okay, now I'm going to drop down to a chart that I used in my new series. This is what I call my perfect chart, and it's not perfect, but it gives us a lot of information based upon the 3 crossing the 6 crossing the 18, and the 18 crossing the 50. And you can see right here that this fan is going into effect now. When I put the crosshair right here, you can see where the Nasdaq broke out. Let me zoom in a little bit. This was the congestion consolidation area. It broke out a little bit here. No, it didn't either. That was resistance right there. It didn't quite break that. Pulled back, and then here was the first breakout above resistance. And it stayed there. This day it looked like it was going to reverse, but buyers came in and pushed the close up above the support line. So resistance has now become support, and the market, or the Nasdaq, is off to the races. Will it last? I don't know. Now let me clear this. I believe this is clear screen right here. It retains my markings from before, and now I want to look at this and put an up arrow on here. But you can see as the market moves up, these histogram bars are getting further apart. It dipped down a little bit on the 3 versus the 6, but the 18 versus the 50, and the 6 versus the 18 and the 18 versus the 50 are expanding as this market gains momentum. Now, I spend a lot of time on the market, too much time, but where we really learn about what's going on, and we get away from the market charts, which are just collections of stocks, and some are weighted by market cap, and the Dow is a equal dollar weighted index. But really, to get the insight into what's going on, you really need to look at stocks and ETFs. And let's just do that quickly right now. I'm going to hit my alternate space bar. And when I do that, it takes me to all securities. And now I want a quick look to see what's going on here. Now, one scan that I do have here, and I'm going to just go in. These are the scans I'm working on for the webinar, by the way. I have a scan here which I call Market Leaders. And if you go to that, and it's in all of the regular files right now, it looks for stocks trading 500,000 shares minimum that can be down no more than 5% from the 52-week high. So it's a very basic filter, but it gives me a good idea of what the leadership groups are: application software, biotech, restaurants, home builders. These have all been strong. Semiconductors. It's all right there. If you want to take these leaders and bring up the spectrum analyzer, and you can divide them either by industry or by sector. I'll just do it by sector here to show you this. You can see the tech sector is the most dominant with 42, healthcare 34, consumer, discretionary, and so on. If you want to make indexes out of these, you click on that folder, And I'll just call this market leaders. And you can prepend the date so you know the date that you create these. I'll get rid of this. And then I'm going to go into my designer and go to my market leaders, and you can see that these are from 5/19. And then I can put them in the warehouse view, but I don't want to be in communications. I want to be up here under market leaders, and then I have to go back up here to my HGSI index analysis, because these are HGSI indexes, and I can click on this and it sorts on the percentage price change one day. That is the index that was created. It's an index of all of these, so this would be the leader index itself, and you can see what it looks like. But ignoring that, healthcare was on top at 0.8, 0.2 one day, and so on. But let's look at the beginning of the week, which would be from Monday morning. If I sort on that, energy was up 4.2, communications up 4%, technology 3.5, and so on down the list. Consumer staples are down 1.8. Now remember, these are just the leaders only. So if I bring up the energy index, you can see what it looks like. It says index right here. Not real smooth. Let's take a look at the tech index, because it is the largest index, and you can see how nice it looks with this beautiful fan on here. And if I want to go down into the index, I can see what happened on one day, beginning of the week, and 5 days. Now, if I move down here, I have these numbered top-down percentage price change up end-of-day stocks and groups. And if I click on that, it shows me which stocks in this leaders group were up yesterday. Disregard this one. This is the index itself. All of these stocks were up yesterday, and you can see the industry. This is the technology sector. Now looking at this column right here, this is the days since the 3 crossed the 6, and you can see a lot of these signals are several days old. That's the index again. Oracle, this is 14 days old on the 3 crossing the 6, or 15 days old, 0 is a crossover day, and the volume point of control crossed over 17 days ago. Let me bring up Oracle, not Oriole, and you can see what happened here. Where was the crossover? Back here after a test, a confirmation of that test, and then it moved up sharply from there. And that was up 5.1% from the beginning of the week. No, that's incorrect. That's 5.1% is Friday to Friday. That's what happened this week. Now, a lot of these leaders are gone. You can tell that by looking at this. Here is one which just crossed over probably after a pullback 2 days ago. Let's take a look at it. And you can see it's been a leader, but it pulled back here. The 3 went below the 6. And then there were 2 volume pocket pivots after a couple of VPA flags. And it's trying to get past resistance now. But in the webinars and videos I'm doing now, it's great, yes, to look at leaders and so on, but what we're looking for, and I've got screens set up, are stocks that are crossing over after pullbacks, primarily after pullbacks, and that information is all available in these columns. Now, I'm going to end this video. It's getting long. I just wanted to get something out. I'll have a new video out for the webinar series. I'll have one out on Monday, and then we'll discuss it in a live session on Thursday at 2 p.m. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend.